A longtime Lubbock landmark will soon be history after voters make their voice heard this weekend. Coming up, we'll have the details on this past Saturday's special election.
Texas Tech's athletic department has a lot to celebrate after making history this spring. MCTV's Casey Buscher will have a look at all the stories making the headlines in sports.
And a popular way to boost energy could also be harmful to your health. MCTV's Marissa Ramos has the details on what you need to know to survive the end of the semester without making a trip to the ER.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Ashley Bell.
And I'm Alma Bustamante. The fate of the Lubbock Municipal Auditorium Coliseum has been the subject of a big debate over the last few months.
That's true, Alma, and this past Saturday, voters finally had a chance to have their voice heard. On Saturday, a special election was held across the city, giving Lubbock residents the chance to vote for or against the Proposition Number 1. And at the end of the day, a small majority who were for the measure made the decision to permanently abandon the auditorium and Coliseum. The final vote came down to a less than 4% difference, with 51.8% voting for the proposition and 48.2% voting against. The Proposition Number 1 was placed on the ballot earlier this year by the Lubbock City Council. City leaders decided that the cost to operate and possibly renovate the facilities was much more expensive than they were worth. With the vote now an official, the land facilities will revert back to Texas Tech. Tech originally gave the city of Lubbock the land the auditorium and the Coliseum currently sit on back in the 1940s. But the agreement at that time stated that if the city ever abandoned the facility, the property would revert back to the university. In February, Texas Tech President Lawrence Skovanec announced that if the city did abandon the facilities, Tech would most likely look into building an athletic residence hall in place of the auditorium and Coliseum. And last week, Chancellor Robert Duncan stated that the university would take on the cost of the demolition of the facilities, removing the financial burden from city taxpayers. One other big issue that came up during the abandonment debate was that the future of dirt events in the Coliseum. Duncan's statement also said that the university will do what they can to accommodate events that use the facilities until a final decision is made on the property. Although there is no set timeline for the auditorium or Coliseum to be demolished, it is likely that the university will begin making plans for the property within the next few months. Tech has already made an agreement with the city that the annual ABC Rodeo can use the facility in spring of 2019. Based on that information, it is possible that the Lubbock Municipal Auditorium and Coliseum could exit the city skyline sometime next year.
In other news, a campus department that focuses on equality held a special event last week to bring attention to an important issue. On Friday, the Departments of Women and Gender Studies held a gender fair in the library's Crossler Room. This is the 7th annual gender fair, which the department hosts every spring. Gender fair is an educational event aimed at raising awareness of and promoting gender equity in communication.
Yeah, because it's very interactive, and so it's a way to not only learn about the connections between communication and gender, but also for students to be able to demonstrate what they have learned in the course. And so it's a way to reach out to the campus community and also for the students to just really heighten their learning experience. We go beyond much more than what would take place in the classroom if they were just doing presentations with each other with everyone that had learned this information throughout the course of the semester. And so we've got experts that are coming into the booth. We also have people that maybe don't know anything about the topic, and so it's a way for them to really engage with the community.
The annual gender fair is a culminating work of the Comms 3334 and Women's Studies 3312 courses. These projects are an expansion on topics that were touched on during the semester. Representatives from Women's Protective Services, the LGBTQIA organization, and the Feminist Majority Leadership Association were all in attendance. If you want more information about the Departments of Women's and Gender Studies, head to the website listed on your screen.
With graduation less than 2 weeks away, many campus groups and departments are wrapping things up for the spring semester. One of those departments is giving graduating seniors one last chance to show off their skills before they leave the university. The School of Art's annual graduating senior exhibitions are currently on display in several of the art building's galleries. The Graphic Design Senior Portfolio exhibition can be seen in the first floor Landmark Gallery, and the Graduating Senior Art Show is set up in the Studio and South Galleries. Both exhibitions showcase the work of students who will be walking the stage during next weekend's commencement ceremonies. The work on display features various forms of art, including photography, paintings, sculptures, jewelry, and more. The annual displays give art majors one last chance to publicly display their creations on campus. Both exhibitions will remain on display through graduation, and a special reception will be held on Friday, May 18th at 5:30 p.m. to recognize the senior artists. If you would like to stop by and view the installations before graduation, the galleries are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and this Sunday from noon to 4 p.m. All of the School of Art galleries are free and open to the public.
Speaking of graduation, the tech community is currently gearing up for the spring 2018 commencement ceremonies. Starting next Friday, commencement will kick off at 3 p.m. with students from the College of Arts and Sciences. On Friday night, the graduates school will host their spring ceremony starting at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday, the remainder of the university's 13 colleges and departments will walk the stage. At 9 a.m., graduating students from the College of Business, Kastner, the Visual and Performing Arts, along with university programs and Wind Energy, will receive their degrees. Later that afternoon, graduates from the College of Engineering, Education, Architecture, Human Sciences, Media and Communication, and the Honors College will all walk the stage. All 4 commencement ceremonies will be held in the United Supermarkets Arena, and they are free and open to the public. Over the weekend, the South Plains saw some pretty nice weather. Temperatures on Friday and Saturday stayed around the upper 70s and mid-80s, and the winds weren't much of a factor.
That's true, Alma, but by yesterday, a heat wave made its way into the area, and temperatures climbed above 90 degrees yesterday afternoon. So, has summer made an early start here in Lubbock? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV tower cam is showing quite a few more clouds than we saw this weekend. Skies are still mostly sunny, but windy conditions are continuing to bring more clouds into the area. Temperatures today have been warm, and highs should climb into the low 90s before sunset. Overnight, the windy conditions will stick around, and temperatures will only drop off into the mid-60s. Tomorrow morning, windy conditions will continue, bringing even more clouds into the area. We'll start off the day with overcast conditions before the sun makes a return in the early afternoon. The winds will also begin to lighten in the afternoon, but temperatures will climb even higher. Tomorrow's high should reach the upper 90s late in the day. After sunset, we'll see a slight chance for rain enter the forecast, but beyond that, it should be a nice, mild evening. Lows will fall back into the 60s, and a few clouds should stick around through the evening. On Wednesday, Dead Day is looking to be one of the hottest days of the year so far, with highs expected to reach 100 degrees. We'll see lots of sunshine and breezy conditions, but otherwise it should be a very hot day. Late in the evening, a few clouds will begin to return to the skies, and overnight temperatures will again be in the 60s. On Thursday, the summer-like temperatures will continue, with highs climbing into the upper 90s, but we'll also see a lot more wind and a few more clouds. The wind will continue into the evening, and temperatures will again drop into the 60s. Looking ahead, a couple more days of temperatures around 100 degrees will end the week before temperatures cool down slightly to end the semester.
Texas Tech spring sports have been making the headlines this semester, and it looks like that may continue over the next couple of weeks.
MCTV's Buscher joins us with a wrap of this weekend's events, along with a look at what's ahead for Texas Tech athletics. Casey?
Thanks, Ashley and Alma. Coming into May, there's a lot of great success going on for Texas Tech athletics. From Texas Tech baseball ranked 12th in the nation to women's tennis ranking 14th and Texas Tech track and field ranking 2nd in the nation, there is some exciting action going on for Texas Tech. Kicking off the weekend, Tech baseball fell to Texas in the series opener 12-6 on Friday night at Danlaw Field. Tech couldn't overcome a 6-run third inning by the Longhorns despite a pair of multi-run innings to chip away at the lead. Tech finished the night with 6 runs on 12 hits, with 3 Red Raiders railing multi-hit bigs at the plate. Saturday, the Red Raiders tied up the series 1-1 with a 16-5 win. Tech recorded 16 runs on 13 hits, scoring in 7 straight innings in the middle of the game versus the Longhorns. Sunday, Tech fell to Texas 7-5 to finish out the series. The nationally ranked Red Raiders hope to finish off Big 12 play on a high note as they face the first-place Oklahoma State Cowboys in Stillwater next weekend. For the 3rd consecutive season, the number 14 women's tennis program will host the 1st and 2nd rounds of the NCAA championships at McLeod Tennis Center. This is the 7th straight season for the Lady Raiders to make the NCAA tournament. Princeton, Illinois will kick off the weekend on May 11th at 10 a.m. The Lady Raiders will face Army on May 11th at 1 p.m. The winner of each match will advance to Saturday's second round match set for 1 p.m. Tech has advanced to the Sweet 16 in the last 3 seasons and achieved an Elite 8 appearance just last season. May means NBA playoffs are in full action, with LeBron and the Cavs continuing to dominate the East against the Raptors and the Rockets and Warriors dominating in the West. It's been a good playoff so far. Yesterday, the Warriors defeated the Pelicans 118-92 to bring the series to 3-1. Durant and Curry went off with a combined 61 points, leading the Warriors to the win. For the Pelicans, Davis and Moore led the team with a combined 46 points, but they couldn't get the job done. On Tuesday, the Pelicans and Warriors meet again for Game 5 at Golden State at 9:30 p.m. Chris Paul and James Harden did it again, leading the Rockets over the Jazz with 51 points combined, bringing the series to 3-1. They meet for Game 5 on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Looking forward to a great rest of the NBA playoffs. That's all for sports. Back to you, Alma and Ashley.
So Casey, I hear you're graduating and this is your last time to anchor sports for MCTV.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm really sad. I had such a great time anchoring here at MCTV with you guys.
Congratulations.
We're really going to miss you.
Thanks, guys. I'll miss you too.
With the semester coming to a close, many students across campus have more than finals to worry about. Some students also need to take care of some unpaid parking tickets. Luckily, there's one option that may make that process a little easier on your pocketbook. Between now and May 18th, Transportation and Parking Services is hosting a special food drive for the Rec Hunger Food Pantry. The Park Hunger Drive is an opportunity for students with unpaid parking tickets to bring in donations in exchange for the dismissal of their citations. The items that can be donated include shelf-stable foods, toiletries, cleaning supplies, diapers, and paper goods. The items donated must equal or be more than the cost of the citation for the dismissal. If you would like to take part in the Park Hunger Food Drive, just stop by the Transportation and Parking Services office each day between 7:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. For more information, visit parking.ttu.edu.
With classes ending tomorrow and finals only 3 days away, many students are looking for options to survive the end of the semester.
That's right, Ashley. But one popular option to make it through finals project and tests could be harmful to your health. MCTV's Marisa Ramos has more.
As finals get closer, students lean on caffeine as their main energy source, but that's when we start to question, how much is too much caffeine for you? And we sat down with the student today and we talked about her caffeine habits.
I feel like I don't need coffee every day, but just on days that I know are going to be long, and that's when I really drink it. I think the coffee enhances the energy I already have. Because I'm a morning person, but I feel like I'm like, okay. And then once I get the coffee, I'm like, okay, now let's really start my day. And I also get an extra shot of espresso. Like without it, I feel like I get like a crash in the middle of my day, but with it, I feel like it lets me literally last. It tastes good, so sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna go get a coffee just to get a coffee. I don't think energy drinks do the same. I like energy drinks more now. I feel like if I expect an energy drink during lunch, I don't need my coffee in the morning.
Heart doctors do not have great evidence that caffeine causes abnormal heart rhythms. The current recommendations against coffee are conservative and mostly based on assumptions of how the body works.
So some negative things that could happen with overconsumption of caffeine is headaches, nervousness, increased blood pressure, even possible heart palpitations and higher heart rate at times.
Moderate coffee consumption, defined as 3 or 4 cups a day, providing 300 or 400 milligrams of caffeine, carries little evidence of health risks and some evidence of health benefits.
There's some pros and cons, certainly. The pros are, sure, it's going to help stimulate you and maybe kind of help you with that extra push through studying. But the negative side is it can increase anxiety, stress. It can also increase your cortisol levels, creating higher stress levels as well. A maximum amount of caffeine probably per day that someone should limit themselves to is around 300, 350. Anything beyond that, then you're going to start looking at that caffeine acting as a diuretic and start wasting some of that water and fluid in our body.
While coffee and tea seem to be fairly safe, the research suggests that most energy drinks are slightly riskier. But again, there are other ways to get energy than from caffeine.
Well, a healthier option for caffeine intake would certainly be, one in moderation. Instead of getting the highest, largest caffeine drink you could get, maybe spreading that out. Food is our energy source and caffeine is our stimulant source. So if we're looking to be more energized, doing light exercises throughout the day, making sure you have quality sleep, which is so hard for college students or busy professionals. That's one thing that kind of gets thrown out the window. So making sure balance for sure with good, healthy, nutritious foods, throwing in some fruit and some vegetables, and making sure that you're not really loading up on those high greasy, high sugary foods.
So Ashley, can you believe this is the end of the semester?
I can't. It really flew by, but I'm glad it's over. I'm ready for summer.
I know, me too. That's all for today's edition of MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. Have a great summer and check back for more MCTV next fall.